standpoint? I know we've just started in the Digi process.
Yeah.
Are we looking into that?
Yeah. So I think we have become, I've met a lot of people here who are fans of Digiyatra. And why did they become Digiyatra fans? It's only because we are doing some sort of a meaningful intervention in your journey. And going forward, what we are planning is that this particular token could be used. So we want to broaden our canvas. And you could use this token at say a hotel identity validation. So you checked into a hotel. When you check into the hotel, they will ask, okay, show me your Aadhaar card or whatever. They will take a printout of that. So again, that is something which is leading to consumption of paper. We want to eliminate that as well. So suppose you want to apply for a visa, a lot of credentials are required. And if you look at I'll just explain the experience that I went through. My son went to London recently, and I was filling up all the visa forms for him. One is, of course, that the whole application process took so much of time. It took me like a full week to complete the whole application process. The thing that I had to do was I had to take all these printouts, the form printout. I had to take 6 months bank statement, which is again a printout. All these documents I got, applied online, and then now I have to go for the visa interview. What happens over there? They take all these documents, they scan it, and they give me back these printed papers. And sheer waste of energy, sheer waste of paper. And why can't this whole thing be done on an API economy where all the data that the visa application requires is sent through various channels on API in a secure manner without anyone having to print any document, right? I mean, this is something which we want to enable, and we are at that starting point where we want to take this journey to the next level, where we do more than what is today being thought of. Meaning that, all processes just on your phone in a shorter time, in a much more seamless way is what we are planning in the future.
Absolutely. And that's where I would say I would want to talk about the basics of carbon neutrality. So just as a one-on-one over here, just as a basics, given I've gone through the whole process at a global level on what it looks like. Carbon credits or carbon in general, there are two ways of removing it. One is actually removing carbon from a certain process, and the second one is abatement, where you're saying, I'm going to pollute, but I'm going to buy credits from someone who's putting an electric vehicle or Digi who's actually removing paper. So just to put it out there, as people who are working on climate change and are working with companies, we are working towards, as a nation globally, on removal of carbon, where Digi is truly removing carbon. They are making sure that paper is not used, versus a lot of companies out there are greenwashing. I think last panel did talk about greenwashing, and that's what they're doing. They're saying, I'm going to keep my polluted industry, but I'm going to pay someone who's planting trees and say that I'm going to buy credits. That's what are being sold in the market. That's what airlines are actually doing as of now in the US. And a lot is happening in the sector where a lot of greenwashing is happening. So given we have a few minutes more, would love to understand, Suresh, even from a personal standpoint, what are sort of the green ways you follow on a daily basis as a person to make sure you're carbon neutral or at least reducing your footprint?
So I think this is now being practiced in many outlets, right? Starbucks, you have the option of using a paper cup or the mug. So the paper cup obviously is the one which leaves a carbon footprint, or a more, I would say, carbon footprint. And what we are trying to do is, this is, I would say that it's a mindset change that we want to bring in our passengers. So we got 3.5 million users already. And with that kind of a user base, what we want to do is we want to be these catalysts for change. So behavioral change is what we want to bring in. We want to inform Digi that, you are flying from, say, Delhi to Bangalore. Here is your carbon footprint. And maybe we want to add multiple other components. So you took an Ola from home to the airport, and this was the carbon footprint. So we would have that. And eventually, this awareness would be built. And post that, what we intend to do, these are all future plans for us. Post that, what we want to do is we want to also give an option. So if you are wanting to offset the carbon footprint that you have laid, then here is the option to buy some carbon credits. So that's something which we have in the future plan. And hopefully we'll be able to raise the level of awareness of carbon footprint.
Thank you, thank you. And just for everyone here, one carbon credit is equal to 1 ton of carbon. That is possibly equal to about 5 years of driving an electric vehicle on an average of 100 kilometers a day. That's what it amounts to. So all of us, I think, globally want to make sure that our footprint, it may be at home, it may be at work, it may be in all ways across our life, it is reduced. As of today, all of us can travel to the airport by a Blue Smart or a green Ola. So do we opt in for that, or do we opt in just being lazy for a second and going for a diesel or a petrol fueled cab out there? So I would say people in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai do have options to actually reduce their carbon footprint. And I'll take a step here and even talk about why I have gone into the food sector just in the last 3 months. I'm into freeze dried food. So as of today, 17% of food is actually wasted globally. In India, 500 million tons of food is wasted at a farm level. So how do you reduce that? How do you work with farmers to make sure that, yes, the final client is actually going to buy a round tomato only, but you've had a missized tomato, you can actually not waste it and freeze dry it or make a powder of it, and it can be used somewhere. So I would say across various sectors, everyone's trying to figure out how the footprint can be managed. And I would say the best example out there is DigiYatra, because each one of us in this room is using it and making sure that they just don't save paper, but they save time, they save government space, and everything is efficient overall. So any last things to add, Suresh?
No, so I would like to first ask how many of you have experienced Digiyatra here? So almost whoever is here, almost everyone has, right? We would just like to have your feedback, right? And our social media channels would be open now for comments, for inputs on what more do you want, what more do you feel can be added to Digiyatra, and we would be happy to bring those features for you. Just a few seconds more on what Digiyatra Foundation is. Many people do not know. So Digiyatra Foundation is a not-for-profit company. 26% shares are with the Airports Authority of India, which is Government of India, and the rest 74% is equally divided between 5 public-private partnership airports, which is Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Cochin. And it is totally not-for-profit. Our sole intent is to enable a seamless journey for all passengers. I just want people to experience the system and give us feedback as much as you want. And we'll be happy to implement new features. Thank you.
Great, great. So thank you, everyone. And I'll just leave you all with a challenge that in the future, if someone says that you can reduce your footprint, pay 100 rupees, pay 1,000 rupees, always look underneath and see what project are they funding, because 99% of them are greenwashing. So just a challenge out there. So thank you so much for having both of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suresh, and thank you, Ayushi, for leading that conversation. Can we again give a big round of applause for that amazing chat?